All right, welcome back. We are going to do something a little unusual today. Um, I was shown a really cool website or tool by I think it was Ant Hammer, if I'm not mistaken, and lots of cool stuff. I haven't tried them all, but the one I really want to try is Puzzle Inception. I did a little bit of this. It's very interesting. So what Puzzle Inception is doing is the thing that I've so desperately wanted to have, which is a collection of puzzles where I don't know if it's an actual puzzle or not. So here's the deal. Here's a position, and we have to decide, is there something here? Find it. And if not, we say, I think it's rather balanced, or white has a slight edge. So I think it's quite an interesting thing. I found a couple of really great puzzles, and then puzzle I wasn't so sure on, so I'm really interested to see how good this tool is. Because if it's great, well, then this is an amazing tool. Okay. So I look at this, and it looks to me like there has to be something here for white, just to start with. Like, this looks like a very tactical position. Let's see, can we draw arrows on it? No. Okay. So there's going to be no arrow drawing. First thing I'm looking at is, like, queen takes rook. Is that something? It doesn't... No, actually, maybe it is. Because then it's king takes rook. And then because the king can't escape on either f7 or f8, our rook can come down, check. The only way to interpose is with the queen, and that is going to lead to mate. So I decree that white is winning. Yes, okay, Foxy found the same thing. I think white wins. And now we can go to... I think I hit solution, and then I got to solve it last time. Let's see. Yeah, okay, cool. So we will go here, there, and solve the puzzle. So we were both correct, and we solved the puzzle. Moving on. Okay. Who is better here? This one looks much less easy and clear. The last one, it would have been kind of shocking if there wasn't something good. I think there is something good here, though, too. We can see the rooks are staring at each other. They're having a, what did I call a showdown? And that pawn is the only thing saving everything. So we could take the knight. If they take back, we take the rook. It looks like we just straight up are winning a piece there. We do have to be aware that their rook can take us on f5, but our knight would take back. So yeah, I believe white is winning, and we're taking that rook. Let's see, Foxy says, yeah, same thing. Take the guy. By taking the rook, I mean taking the knight first, of course. Oh, that's interesting. I switched something when I did that. Okay, so we're taking there, and then we take. And then, yes, we even saw that part, too. That was a very annoying sound. Okay. We're going to go into the settings. Let's see if we can get rid of that ding. Might as well, right? Sound. We got the volume we can mess with. Gameplay. Yeah, it doesn't look like that is something we can change, which is fine. It's not like game breaking or anything. It's just I found it a little annoying. I don't know why it's called Inception. I was going to ask the person who runs this, later. It does feel like a weird name. I feel like it should be called something different, like, I don't know. But I couldn't come up with a name. I guess that's the point, and maybe that's the same. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, so we've got the bishop staring at each other, but their bishop and our bishop are backed up. That rook is loose, which is immediate, red flag that, like, there's something here. When someone has a loose piece, game or puzzle, it's a dangerous moment. But I don't really see anywhere this knight gets to go that's all that impactful, even in two moves, right? So, like, if we went to, say, e4, just let them take us, and then we were like, haha, check. On f6, they just take us. And if it was black's move, they could double the rook. And I still don't think black is winning, but black is doing quite well. So what else could we do with this knight? We could go c4, threatening to take the pawn on e5, but they would take, we take back, and then they could just move the pawn. We could put the knight on like f3 to go to g5, but I just don't see anything that useful, which is very shocking to me, which is a really good puzzle. If there's nothing here, that's a good puzzle, right? Because all the spidey senses are tingling, and I'm like, there's gotta be something here, but I don't think there is. I'm gonna say it's even. Let's see, did you guys have it? Nope, no one has an answer yet, so I'm gonna say even, and it is even. Okay, there we go. Our puzzle rating is moving up, so we'll see what that does. Does this mean we're going to get harder and harder puzzles? This puzzle was rated 1769, so let's see what happens. All right, now it's black to move. Once again, kind of feels like there should be something here. I'm not convinced that there is, because we can't really arrange our pieces too much better. We can't check the king with the queen in a reasonable way. We do have those connected passers, which is quite useful, but they have, you know, the ultimate passer on the 7th. It is backed up by their queen, by their king. Their king is about to take our rook. So what can we do here? If anything, I would say white is maybe even winning here. Let's see. I feel like maybe there's a trick here that I'm just not seeing. Let's say I took the pawn with the rook check. Pretty much have to take back with the rook. Then I could check on e5. That doesn't really seem to do anything. Checking on c8. That's like the ultimate move, right? Like if we could check on c8 safely, we would win the queen. But I just don't see a way to do that. There's no like pins or anything that's super useful. Could go, say, queen e7. I don't know what that's threatening, actually. Seems to be nothing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I see anything here either. This feels like there probably is something here, and it's just a little tricky, and I'm not finding it. I'm going to say that white is winning. That was not the correct evaluation. Okay, let's see. You have black is winning. Rook takes c7 seems good. Okay, let's see. Rook takes c7. Rook takes c7. The queen is hanging. Oh my goodness gracious. That was not a hard one. That wasn't even a little hard. And it was not a hard puzzle. It was only a 1400 puzzle. Okay. I don't know how I didn't see that, Foxy. You're right. That was a very easy one. I don't know what happened there. Sometimes our brains break. Okay. So the problem here is if we take the rook, our rook is gone. So can we move the rook in such a way where then we can take their rook? That's really the question. And I think if we go rook b3, we have saved our rook. I thought we were threatening their bishop, but we're actually not. So maybe they can just save their rook, and then we've got nothing. We could also play rook b2 and take the pawn on b2. And if we're taking the pawn on b2, they move their rook out of the way. Again, we didn't get that much, but we got something. I think I found the move, though. Rook f8, go a whole different direction. Get that check. And can't block the check in a way that saves the rook, and then we take their rook. Okay, so black is winning. All right, let's do the solution. We go here, check. They go there, and we take the rook. All right. I don't know, I'm curious. What do you guys think of this so far? I think it's interesting, and I'm really curious to see if I can get a bunch of them right. Will the puzzles get really challenging, and then it could be really fun. But so far, it does feel like all the puzzles have been quite good. I've actually really enjoyed these puzzles. They haven't. What I mean is that they don't seem like bad puzzles or something. Okay, there is so much happening here. It is white to move. At a glance, it looks fairly even, but white seems a little better. That's just kind of like we've got the rooks doubled. Our knight could jump into here. Their knight is kind of stuck passively guarding this pawn. This bishop doesn't look super great. So just like positionally, the game looks pretty good. And if tactics flow from good positions, as I have been told, then maybe there is something here that we can find. Knight b6 is sort of interesting. Advancing the pawn, advancing the knight doesn't do that much. Takes. Something like the h7 square is very vulnerable. We could maybe go like queen g3, bishop h6. That looks kind of annoying to deal with, except for the queen is covering it. Yeah, it looks to me like this is... Looks like white has a small edge, but not a big one. Actually, I don't know. It feels to me like white is ahead, but there's no... I guess what I'm trying to say is I feel like white is ahead, but there's no tactical knockout here. I think it's just kind of continue to improve your position, but that seems kind of hard. Their position is so good. I'm not entirely sure how I would do that. I would probably go like knight c5, then maybe press the a and b pawns, gain some space over there. Maybe lure their pieces a little bit more over, take advantage of that passive knight. But as far as tactical knockouts, not seeing one. I do really like knight c5 though, because it's threatening quite a bit of annoying squares, right? It's threatening the queen, it's threatening to go to b7 if they take, and we take with our rook. Now the e5 pawn is vulnerable. But I think I want to say, I don't really know how this works. Like, I do think white has a slight edge, but I don't know what white edge means. So I'm going to say balanced, and I won't be surprised if I'm wrong. Okay, no, so there was something more here. Daniel, what is up? Does the puzzle become harder as you get more correct? I think so, but I'm not 100% sure. No, I think we do, because if you look in the bottom here, we can see I started at 1273 and it was constantly going up, then I missed one, so it dropped back down, and then it started going back up again. But this one is hard. I'm curious to see what you all find. Okay, so if you get it wrong, you go to solution, it tells you the solution rather than solving it. So, okay. So I was right, basically. There's no knockout, but white does have an edge because of the piece activity. Wow, so that is very nuanced and complicated. I would have said edge, but I wasn't quite sure what that meant. It says that white could go b3, or white could go bishop a5, and both would continue our edge. Okay, I agree. Fully agree. That's a very nuanced way to answer a puzzle. I like it. I wish I had said white had an edge, which is what I thought. I just wasn't really sure what that meant. Okay. So who is better? It is white to move. What I like about these puzzles, this is a lot more nuanced than just like find the easy tactic, right? It's like, even if there's not a tactic, now it's a positional puzzle. Who's better? That is a very fascinating way to do puzzles. Okay, so they're protecting D5 a lot of times. So that doesn't seem that vulnerable. They don't really have anything loose that I can attack. If I want to directly attack something or trade, it would be something like knight takes e6, which is fine, but I don't think that really gains me that much. We could pile more attackers on the e-pawn. Our bishop's kind of out of play. I think if I had to give someone an edge here, I think I would say balanced, leaning towards black, but I feel like black's edge is very small. I don't think I see anything for white. I'm going to look a little bit harder. Yeah. I don't see anything. I think I'm going to say balanced for this one. Let's look one more time. What if I push c4? If I push c4 and they were to take, and I took and they took back, I do have the check along the back rank, which actually I think is mate. Not quite. Yeah, no, it's mate. So that's interesting. So if I push that pawn, they cannot take. But they could push by and have a really nice passer. And I think that's actually worse for me. So I think I'm going to say even. These puzzles are closer to 100%, I feel. What's this? Wait, what? They say chess is 99% text, but I strongly disagree. The rest is hidden in that saying. Yeah. Cover closer to 100%. I don't know what you mean by that last statement. Cover 100%. But yes, I'm going to say balanced. Okay, it is balanced. I think edge, I agree with you, Daniel. I think black is slightly better, but I think when they say edge, they mean like a full point. Like, it is very clear that if white plays well, they'll be good. All right. Black to move. Okay. I mean, this is even, right? This is like a theoretically even endgame. Let's do some quick calculation to see if we can make something happen. Maybe we're missing something here. But like we've got the check. King just moves up. I mean, if anyone's winning, it's white, right? Like their pawns have more space, but I just can't imagine outside of a pretty deep blunder either side winning this. White's knight is kind of out of play. I don't think it matters. I can't even come up with anything other than balanced. I mean, this just seems like it must just be 100% balanced. Yeah, this is to me is a really bad puzzle because it's like it's a very basic look. And now, okay, it's not a bad puzzle if it's not balanced, but if it's balanced, it's kind of like, okay, like what are we even doing here? Okay, like this is just like I could have just glanced at it for a second and hit balanced. I don't think that means I'm really good. I think that means that was not a very good puzzle. Okay. Certainly a lot going on here. Wow. Okay, it just looks like a very regular middle game where we haven't had a lot of contact yet and we're still sort of developing. Again, I don't think this is a very good puzzle. Unless. So let's go a little deeper with it before I make assertions like that. Like white definitely has some nice space advantage. All the pieces are on the board. Black can't trade anything off. But it does feel like black's pieces are okay. Like this knight can develop to d7. They can centralize the rooks. I feel like our move is like castle followed by maybe bishop e3 or something, bishop d2. It looks even slash slight lead for white. I would say if you said, hey, whose pieces do you want? I would say white. But I also wouldn't feel like I had this game won. What about e5? No, that does not look like it works. Feels balanced to me. It does not look like a great position, a great puzzle to me. Ooh, not balanced. I bet it's white edge, which also I don't love. Okay, let's see. Solution is white has an edge because of their space advantage. Okay, so either I'm not liking these kind of puzzles, or this is going to be really good practice for me to really be able to define really carefully what an edge is. So I did say white has an edge for exactly the reason they said, because of the white space advantage. But I just felt like it wasn't quite enough to call it that much of an edge. The score is 1. This feels like the computer won a little bit. I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm curious. What's your evaluation? Would you have put white edge, or would you have said balanced? And then do you agree? Yeah. Okay. That's what I'm wrestling with too, Daniel. I feel like this particular tool is a very, very cool, great tool that I think needs a little bit of work on, like, it's really the edge, right? With the winning, yes. The balanced, yes. But, like, what are we calling an edge? Are we really saying a slight space advantage is a white edge? Maybe we are. Maybe we are. Let's look again at sort of the instructions. Maybe I zipped through that a little bit too quickly. Let's see. Puzzle Inception. In this mode, we're going to evaluate positions by choosing from those categories. Some positions have tactics, others do not. You won't know in advance whether a tactic is present. Adds a layer of realism. Love it. If the evaluated position has a tactic, that's the only way to win. Yeah, okay. So no, I did not breeze through it a little bit faster. It does say Puzzle Inception is recommended for players who are comfortable with challenging chess puzzles with at least a 1600 level rating. Okay. And the puzzles will be matched with your puzzle rating. Okay. So we've got the information. We've got the information. I kind of feel like what this is doing is it's just pulling positions from a database and just saying if the engine says it's +1, it's an edge. But I feel like there are a lot of positions where the engine will say +1 that I don't really agree it's an edge. Let's see. Foxy says you should trust your positional intuition. At some point in an actual game, you need to evaluate. Here, you would need to evaluate correctly that white stands slightly better. Yes, I agree it's an important skill. So I don't know. I'm just not sure I agree with all the evaluations. Which is funny, though, but I said I thought they were slightly better. So maybe I just need to say, yeah, no, they're slightly better. Okay, so black to move. Again, I don't think there is a great tactic here for black. If it was white to move, maybe. Because white has a lot of stuff happening. Let's see, can we... I mean, the bishop is loose. Is there a way to trap that bishop? With something like take the pawn. No, the pawn can't even move. The pawn is pinned because of the queen. The rooks are backed up. I mean, to me, white has a pretty big edge and maybe is even winning. Let's just flip this puzzle for white for a moment. If it's white's turn to move, what are they doing? They could go... maybe not. Like, you know, h takes g6. Queen takes. Queen takes, king takes. And then, I don't know, maybe like rook d7 to double the rooks on the 7th. I think white is winning. I think that's what I want to go with. White is winning this. I don't think that would be the answer. That would be a really crazy puzzle to be like, black to move, white is winning. So, let's see if I can find anything else before I just make what sounds like a bizarro answer. Their king is a little vulnerable. But getting to that king is a whole nother story. I'm going to go with white wins. I don't know. Weirdest puzzle ever. Rook f8 looks necessary. Yeah, and maybe rook f8 gets us to balanced. I'm going to say white wins. White wins. What a crazy puzzle. Black to move, white wins. I don't know. Does that make this the most amazing tool ever or annoying? I'm unclear. Because that's kind of cool that it's like the puzzle is black to move. Also, by the way, white is winning. Very interesting. All right, let's go to the next one. What is going on? Okay, Foxy says also looks like white's winning. But isn't that a weird way to do puzzles? Maybe weird equals awesome, though. I don't know. I'm unclear. Okay. All right. I don't know what happened. My brain broke there for a second. I was like, wait, what are we doing? Okay. So the queens are staring at each other and neither are backed up. That's a pretty big thing to at least really, really notice. Does that mean something's there? I don't know. Also, that knight is pinned to the queen. So knight d5 or knight e4 are both in the cards. Knight d5 is certainly more forcing. We are hitting the queen. And if the queen moves away, we've got 2 on the knight. So, yeah, the knight is lost. We go knight d5, the knight... Oh, wait. If the knight takes, they're up a piece. We take the queen. But then they take our queen. And so they're up a piece. But we take their rook. They take our rook. I mean, our bishop. And we got a queen and a rook. And they got our bishop, knight, and queen. But in that position, is there something else? Now their bishop is pinned. Can we go knight takes e5? It doesn't look like it because now the bishop is guarding it. Holy moly, this is complicated. Maybe we can make this a lot less complicated by taking the knight first. If they take with the bishop, we check on d5 and we have the same great issues. But if they take with the queen, then I don't think it works. So then let's come back to our other move, knight e4. And now if they take with the knight, they are not hitting our queen. So this is the answer. So the answer is white is winning. And the answer is knight here. What? Are you kidding me? So this puzzle was in the 2000s, and this one didn't seem that hard. So what did I do wrong? I mean, seems good to me. Knight d5 looks winning. Knight d5? I thought we calculated that doesn't work. Yeah. Because of the reason where the knight would be on the queen. I mean, maybe it takes here first. Just didn't look like that was working. And maybe you meant now, knight d5. Now knight d5. Oh, look, the queen's fully trapped. Is the queen fully trapped? Queen can go to f5. But if so, we have the check fork. Yep, got it. So I just didn't look deep enough. Darn it. I think this prepares one better for actual games than typical puzzles. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. That's why I was so excited about this product. And this is free, by the way. Like, this website, chesspuzzle.net, has other things, but this particular piece is free. And to me, this might be the best tool on their website. Okay. So takes, queen takes. The knight is still not hanging. After this one, we're going to explore some more of their website, see what other things they've got. Let's see. This feels like white should be winning. The doubled rooks, the knight that's in danger. But takes, check. Also, the queen can check the king from two different angles. We gotta sort of keep that in mind. The queen can check from d5 or c4. Both of them still hitting the knight. Not that they're both good moves at this moment because of their queen. But let's say we started with queen c4. There's no good way to block. So that would mean moving the king. Let's say they went to f8. Yeah, I don't know how to sort of take advantage of that. There's another square we can check from, which is b3. That one's even harder, but again, could happen. White is definitely winning. Like, white either has a big edge or is winning. Those are the only options here. I actually think, what I really think is there is no tactic, and white is still winning. That white can just make kind of a quiet move here and just be winning. But though maybe not, because maybe it's just like rook takes, queen takes. Wait, rook takes, and then we're not doing that great anymore. Now suddenly their pieces are doing fine. They can trade off the bishop also, and maybe white's not winning by as much. Though they do have those two connected passers, which, like, everything about white's position is so much better. Black's pawns are a disaster. Like, if we were to trade off all the material, we would say white was winning. Like, white is just winning. The question is, can I find a move that is like white is winning now, or if it's just white is winning? Okay, what about queen b3? They kind of have to take. We take the rook. No. Because they can just move their queen now. I don't have an answer. I don't see the tactic. I think there's one there, and I'm missing it. But I'm going to say white wins. I'm quite confident in my evaluation. Now let's see if I can solve the puzzle. So I was right. I kind of like this. That, like, if I don't solve the puzzle, I can still say, well, my chess sense is enough that I know white is winning. Like, that part I know. Can I see precisely the move? Maybe not. That's kind of an interesting way to solve a puzzle. Okay, so queen c4, king goes to f8. Takes. I don't know. I'm just going to take. I can't figure it out. So it seems like even if we were to trade this all off, we're doing very well. So I'm going to take here as well. And that's not correct. So takes, then what? Let's check here, I guess. Nope. Alright, you guys find it? Rook takes B, queen B3. Yep, that wins it for sure. Because if they take, we take the rook. If they don't take, they give us a free queen and we win. Okay. Okay. Interesting stuff. Let's see. Wow, I missed some chat here. Pilot, what is happening? He was in Morristown last week. That's cool. Masonic Temple? Oh, interesting. Okay. Let's just see what else is on the site. It's a very interesting site. I thought I had I messaged developer. He said he would give me a month. Maybe I have a month. Oh, maybe I have premium. Okay, I think I have premium for a month, so I could kind of try out the site. All right, so we're going to stay away from the premium for just a moment. Puzzle filter is basically you can do a lot of different ways to do puzzles. So that's interesting. I'm not really interested in doing that at the moment, but certainly if I wanted to do something, I could. Puzzle climb. This is basically a puzzle survival. So that's cool. Puzzle practice, I think it's regular puzzles. Okay. And then Checkmate Armageddon is interesting. I don't love these kind of things, but I could see some people loving them. This is just, you get 3 lives and like 60 seconds, and if you can solve 80 points, you save the world from Armageddon. If you don't, then you don't. But you also, like, you know, move up the ladder and such. Okay, so Puzzle Inception is what excites me. And then there's also this Puzzle Academy. So let's just see what this is. Because this seems like their big thing, right? Like everything else is free. This is the part that's not free. So let's take a look at it real quick. So it's learn chess tactics organized by motif and difficulty. In the academy, you're going to learn patterns. Each skill is broken down into multiple levels. So you're going to learn multiple levels of the skills. And then you sort of go through and unlock different things. So an example would be you'd master the rook fork, the bishop fork, which would lead you into the queen fork. And then once you also master deflection, then you're going to learn deflection into a fork. Interesting. Let's give it a try. I imagine the puzzles will be crazy easy at the start. Oh, can we select our rating? That would really help. I don't know. What do we think? Maybe like 1600 seems like a fine spot. Tournament player. Let's see, 1400 would be a league player. So let's see what we're skipping at 1600. A lot of basics. Yeah, so it's basically skipping the basics. That seems reasonable. Let's do that. I look at something like this and maybe it would be really good for my child to start at the beginning. I don't know. All right, so here we are. We are in our academy. We can do a workout. We can unlock a new skill. We can look at the curriculum. I think we just start doing a workout. Sure. Win material or deliver checkmate. Okay. Easy enough. So this is just basically a puzzle. Black to move. My guess is this is not a move. Maybe we are playing the game from this spot. Well, it says puzzle, so maybe not. Okay. Definitely not seeing the answer easily. I'm looking at rook b1 to chase the knight away and then be able to. I guess we can't push that pawn still. Being able to... Oh, okay. But if we push the knight away and then we go rook b2, I think that pretty much forces them to make that trade, and then we're going to queen. So is there somewhere good they can go with that knight? They could go to a3, and then after we force the trade, it's covering b1, which will be challenging, but will be up material, and we should be able to win from there. That is not correct. Okay. I thought for sure that was correct. What about, can we take this pawn and do something cool? There. Check. Not really. Push the pawn. Put the rook in the corner, maybe? Rook in the corner. They queen. We take. They take. We queen. This does not look like it works to me. I'm a little confused here. How are we stopping this pawn? Looks like the answer is we are not. Oh, we're going to go check, though. Lure him down and then make the queen. They will still get their queen. But we got there. Okay. So, interesting stuff. What are we supposed to learn from this puzzle? I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what, like, the pattern was we were supposed to do. Maybe it's just endgame tactics or something. Alright, this is going to be the last one, and I think we're going to go back to the other one. I think that puzzle Inception is really what we're here for. White to win. Takes. So the bishop's pinned. We could go like knight b5 and be putting a second piece on it. There's no way to defend it. What they could do is take with the rook and sack the exchange. And then we're winning. And I think that's enough. I think we can do that. Okay, and then the question is, which way do we take? It does not look like it matters. But I guess if we took with the rook, I mean the knight, they could put the rook there. Pin the knight. It's not a real pin, though. So I don't think it matters. I don't like these puzzles where it doesn't look like it matters. What? It did matter? How is that wrong? Alright, I want to look at the solution. Why is that wrong? There's a little computer here so we can figure out the problem. Oh, of course. Rook takes the defender. Oh, you bonehead. So yes, it was clearly an answer. Clearly an answer. Okay. I'm curious what you guys think. What is your favorite part of this site? I think mine would have to be the Inception part. Okay, so we've got some leaderboards we can look at. Armageddon. That's the... Oh, there's me. I have the 20th highest Armageddon score. I imagine all of you can beat my score. I did not do well. Highest rating for the month? Oh, boy. I'm not even in the top 100. But I'm almost in the top 100. Highest accuracy. That's neat. Okay, so the leaderboard's cool. I like that. Oh, and it goes month by month. There's not even an overall. The best you can do is see how you're doing for the month. Books is the books they're selling. It's not like a list of books that they recommend. Seems like both might be a good idea. I mean, it's good to sell your products, don't get me wrong. But it might also be a good idea to have like another list of books. Especially if you're going to top out at intermediate. Okay. And then Academy is what we were looking at. If you click on premium, you can just get a premium account. So let's go back to Inception, I think, and try that a bit more. Kevin, you have talked a lot about missing opponent resources. When you guess the wrong move, this is likely the reason. Recommend explaining the refutation of your idea before moving on to the solution. Okay, that is a good idea. And you're right, that is the biggest problem I'm facing. It's my opponent's best move by far. All right, so let's do a little more Inception time. So, white to move. It looks to me like white is winning. Like, just from an evaluation standpoint, without looking at a single move. I mean, black's king is just very weak. Black is up an entire piece, though. So I guess I didn't notice that. So it's not quite as simple as black's pieces are bad, right? We have to actually mate the king or we lose. And that does not look easy. It does not look like this is a position where we can get a mate. Because that c5 square is covered by the black knight. That's a big problem. So is there a way to exploit that? There is. Maybe not. I thought we could play queen takes d5, double attack, win the knight, but they can play bishop c6, now defending the knight, now allowing their rook to be on an open file, and suddenly things have shifted quite a bit. But let's see. So we go there, check, interposes. It does let us do something like, say, queen a5, knight a5 check. Let's say they go king a6. Then we would take the bishop, so they don't want to do that. Let's say they go queen or king b6, still covering the bishop. The bishop does actually fall now to our queen, and now I think we do have a mate. So let's look at this a lot more carefully. Maybe there's something here. So we go check on d6. I don't think they can interpose. If they don't interpose, we're simply taking the knight in like the most basic form, and we're winning. We have 3 connected passed pawns. We're winning. So we are winning this game. What we had to find was that bishop takes d4 actually wins the knight. The reason is they block. We go knight a5, check, they move, we take with the knight, and we have won the piece. We haven't, because then the rook is attacking d5. Let's go deeper. Okay, so queen takes d5, bishop c6, knight a5 check, hitting the bishop, king b6. If we take with the queen on c6, getting out of the line of fire of the rook, then they take our knight, but then we do get to come back down and take the knight back. And we're good. So yes, white is winning. White is winning. What do you guys got? White is winning. Okay, yeah. All right, and the reason is because we're going check, there, check, here, and coming back and taking the knight. All right, there we go. That one was 1760. Who is winning? I mean, it's hard to imagine a world where white doesn't at least have an edge here, right? I mean, the rooks are very aggressive. That pawn on e5 is really helping the attack. I feel like h5 is strong if it doesn't win. If they exchange bishops, I don't think that alleviates much of their pressure. Now the problem is we can't just take on either f7 or I think g6. Let's see, if we took with the bishop, they took with the f pawn. Yeah, I don't think that works, but I think I would probably play h5 here. There is a problem. The problem is that After h5, they can take our bishop, and if we were to take back with the queen, we'd be forced to trade queens, and a lot of our edge goes away. But if they take our bishop, I think we can take back with the pawn and make our position actually even stronger. Yes, they get some counterplay on the c file. I don't think it's enough. I'm leaning towards white wins and saying h5 is the answer. They cannot push. If I take and they take with the f pawn, then maybe I can play rook takes g6. No, I don't think I can. I'm not sure h5 works, but white is clearly winning. There's just no way white is not winning. So Daniel says white has an edge versus winning. Ooh, you might be right. I'm going to say white is winning. Okay, so let's see if we can figure out. What? Okay, it's just saying... Oh, wow. So this is what you were saying, Daniel. There is no clear tactical edge, but white has a good enough move that is not a tactical win, but gives them such an advantage that they're winning. And the game ended in a draw also. That's interesting. h5. So h5 was what played in the game, what led to a draw, but it is a score of 5.6. Okay, so this is how they're kind of saying winning. This move doesn't immediately tactically win, but what if white is up by 5, white is winning. Okay, so I'm glad I went with my gut there. I felt like white was winning even if I couldn't find an immediate knockout blow. It's just too much of an advantage. So white is indeed winning. So, okay. So I think what it comes down to is we're getting positions. The computer gives it an eval. And, wait, what? Oh, his time. Interesting. Okay. I made a mistake. I'm having a... Yeah, I know it ended in a draw. It's crazy stuff. I am about to start a chess lesson that I'm now late for. I thought it was 2 hours from now. So I messed up the time. So I need to go. But I don't know. Make an account on chesspuzzle.net and do a couple positions. See what you guys can find. I think this is a really cool tool. It is shocking that what I think is the best part of the tool is free. So interesting stuff. I'm going to keep doing it. I'm curious to see what happens when I do a bunch more positions and they get much harder. Like, what is that going to look like? All right. Well, I will see you all next time. Sorry I got to go so suddenly, and have a great one. Stream the lesson. Ooh, I don't know. Maybe. See ya.